Just replacing the flex line on 2003 Ford Focus here, rear flex line to this case drum brakes. Got the new flex line here. As you can see, it's pretty short, maybe I don't know, 9 inches long, 8 inches, who knows. I didn't measure it, but anyway. So the procedure I've gone through to get this part here was I took the clips off. There's a clip here. Might as well show it to you. Clip. And it slides onto the groove in the hose to lock it in place. So you have to slide it out. I used screwdrivers, vice grips, etc. Get that out. Then this front hose is clear to move towards the rear of the car and get it out in the open. Then what I did, I took my blowtorch with MAP gas in it, and I heated right here where the steel, where the clip goes in, this area here on the end of the hose. Get it to expand away from the line. Anyway, you don't heat it till it's glowing or anything. You'll have brake fluid blow up on you. Just heat her up good. That breaks the rust loose. And I also sprayed penetrating oil on it first and after I heated it. And need a 12mm flare nut wrench, so I got that on there, and vice grips holding the steel part of the hose, and I was able to break it loose. It didn't come easy, but it broke loose. So I got the front disconnected. Then once you unscrew this, it's going to be brake fluid leaking all over the place. So I have this special plug that I made. So it is a 10mm thread. They call it 3/16 10mm, and it's bubble flare. These cars use bubble flare. I'll show you what it looks like there. See, it looks like it sticks out on the end anyways. It's bubble flare. So, and I just took an old nut and line and pinched the end over, and screwed, as you can see, I screwed in the end there, and screwed this one on. And then it's not leaking. It's been sitting there for 20 minutes at this point, no dripping. So once you get that off, you can deal with the bottom one. Same type of procedure. Take the clip off, push it up through the holder to here, heat it up, and get it to unscrew. Now in this case, the nut seems to be seized to the line. So that's one advantage of doing it this way. So now, the first thing I can do is screw the line back on, because I can rotate it. Hopefully I can get it tight and without tweaking the line. These are copper nickel lines, so I don't want to screw them up. I'd highly advise using them versus steel. They're so much easier to work with. But anyway, so I'll get this new flex line installed here, and then I'll have to bleed the brakes, and I'll do the same type of thing here to the bleeder nut. Heat it up and then work her back and forth with penetrating oil, and hopefully that'll come out so I can get the air out of the system. Well, my trick of heating up the bleeder screw along with penetrating oil worked. I also have this special 11mm 6-point socket wrench that I've made here. It's a socket welded to just any size of wrench, but you got to watch the length, because you have to be able to wiggle it in past this thing, get it on there, and then away you go. And I actually tightened it just, a little bit first, and then undid it. It was kind of tight. There's a little bit of corrosion in it, but like I say, the heat is the one that breaks the rust loose, it seems. And then after I do that, I give it a shot on the threads with penetrating oil, and then try to turn her. So I have that special bent up wrench there to do it. The bleeder screw in this case is 11mm, so that's what I got. And my idea there of screwing the hose on to the seized fitting worked. I tried to unseize the fitting with heat, penetrating oil, but it wouldn't work. What I mean is the nut won't turn on my brake line. So I just screwed the hose in. Had the line sitting up through. I just get danged memory card full on the camera. I hate that. Anyway, what I was going to say was I find the best way to get these clips back in this case, since it's hardly accessible, is using channel locks. Just get them set right and squeeze it on, and that seems to work pretty good. I take it out with varying sizes of flat blade screwdrivers and vice grips, what have you. But now I'm getting pretty close to being ready to attach the top side of it there. So I learned something about the hose retainer clips. You have to put them in so that it ends up putting the most pressure on. In this case, you got this little lip on the outside here, and then it goes upwards. So I would want to install that towards these faces would go towards the steel. And that will pull the hose in tighter. I originally had it in the other way, and it was wiggling around and ready to fall off. So those retainer clips do indeed only go in one direction. Yeah, so this is that wheel that I've had trouble with it locking the tire up on. And so the first thing I did was examine the shoes. They're all dry. No fluid leaking from the wheel cylinder. This here came through from the backside. That's penetrating oil. So everything's nice and dry and clean, but it just likes to lock it up every once in a while. So it was suggested that it could be the flex line, so I've just replaced it. The other thing would be brake fluid. Say brake fluid got on the shoes, that could cause them to grab. That's still a possibility. As it turns out, the front shoe here is thicker than the back shoe when they're new. I have new shoes and I examined them, and that's the way they come. So anyway, once I get this air bled out of it and that, hopefully that solved the problem, but we'll wait and see. I'll let you know. Just one final note there. So the axle nut, it's 30 millimeter. You tighten it to 173 foot-pounds, and it's a limited time use item. You're only supposed to reuse it about 5 times, something like that. So don't reuse it 10 times, it might unscrew. So, and then the lug nuts, 95 foot-pounds. So that should about do it for this Focus repair job, hopefully.